It has, it does not work by electricity generated from sunlight. Instead, it works by it does not work by electricity generated from sunlight. Instead, it works by electricity generated by nuclear power. And there are two nuclear power plants here and here, which give energy even at night when the sun, of course, is out. There is a sample arm which can reach out about 3 meters long, acquire a sample of Martian surface material, withdraw it back into the spacecraft, and it then looks at that sample with 5 different experiments, 1 on inorganic chemistry, 1 on organic chemistry, and 3 on microbiology. And we'll talk about those experiments later. There is a meteorology boom which gives almost hourly weather reports about Mars. And finally, there are these 2 turrets which are cameras. And those cameras work in a way different from the ordinary sort of camera. And I'd like to say a little bit about how they do work. Essentially, there is a nodding mirror inside which bobs up and down and measures a single line of information in the scene. So if I were looking right here, I'd see, because this young man is wearing a dark suit, a dark jacket, dark sweater, I would see dark, 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 dark. Then I get to his face, which by accident happens to be lighter, and it would be lighter. Then the person behind him would be dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, and so on. And I'd get, in this single line, fluctuating darkness and lightness. Then the turret would move a little bit, and I would do another line. And in this way, I would slowly build up, line by line, an impression of what the scene is. Now, over here, we have made a kind of duplication of the basic idea of the Viking camera. So here is a nodding mirror, and you can see it has an ability to nod up and down and build up some information on the scene. Now, the light comes in, is reflected off the mirror, goes through some optics, goes to a photocell, which converts that amount of light to electricity. Then the electricity is measured on a device here called an ammeter, which just measures the amount of current that flows through. Now, what we're going to do is have a volunteer. I haven't said what you're volunteering for yet. How do you know you want to do it? Maybe it'll be terrible. Let me say what the volunteer is going to do, and then you can see if you really want to do it. Actually, it's very interesting to do. The volunteer is going to stand over here where he can't see what's happening over here. And we're going to pile up some blocks in a certain pattern of white, gray, and black. The volunteer is going to stand over here and look at this ammeter, and when there's a lot of current, meaning it's white, he'll put a white block there, and when there's only less, he'll put gray, and when there's even less, he'll put black. And we'll see the volunteer building the blocks up here. There'll be a pattern over here, and at the end we'll see if the same sequence of bright and dark is built up on both sides of this barrier. Now, who would like to do this? Okay, let's see. Can I have you, please? I'd like you to stand right here. Let's put these blocks down here. You'll use these. We're going to start with a white block just so we'll check out that everything is right. And what you have to do is look at this meter. And when it's all the way over here, it will signal white. When it's over there, it'll signal gray. When it signals over here, it's black. And I'll tell you when I'm going to each additional block, okay? Now, the one thing you have to promise not to do is look at the television cameras, which will tell you what's happening on the other side. Okay? Just step over there. Good. Can you see the ammeter still? Yes. Is that okay? Okay. So now I'm going to go over here and try not to be in the light. And I will change the mirror, I'll nod the mirror by turning this screw. And now, just to check that we are on the white block, I'm going to put my hand over the block a little bit and notice that the needle does change. Okay, so now, are you ready? Okay, so now I'm going to turn the screw and I'll tell you when I've gotten to the next block. I have now gotten to the next block. Put some appropriate colored block on. Have you done that? Okay. Now, next block is now. Would you put that block on, please? Have you done that? Okay. Now, the next block is here. Have you done that? Whoa. Have you done that? Good. And now the next block is here. Have you done that? Okay, so we have 5 blocks here, 5 blocks on the other side. Let me pull this partition away, and let's see if we have the same sequence of 5 blocks. White, black, white, gray, white. White. Thank you very much. That was really very good. Well, now, you see you could build up the image of anything. You could build up not just the images of blocks, but of elephants or armadillos or whatever happened to be around. So now I'm going to show you a sequence in which Viking lands not on Mars, but in a different kind of Mars. This videotape shows a Viking lander as if it were to land on an exotic other world called Earth in a place called Mars, Pennsylvania. In the United States, we can see here the Mars drugstore, and there is the Viking lander sitting on the main street of Mars, Pennsylvania. And now, if only there was some sign of life, there's the Viking camera, and now if only there was some sign of life to detect, who knows, maybe the Viking cameras might be able to detect the life in Mars, Pennsylvania. My goodness, what's this? There's Viking taking it all in. Now, here is a picture below taken by an ordinary camera, and above we will see line by line the Viking image build up. And the interesting thing is, while the background it sees fine, anything that moves it can't see so well, and so it's going to miss a lot of the moving objects, whatever they are. Now, that's the situation on Mars, Pennsylvania, and the question is whether the situation on Mars is different. Here is, in fact, the complete build-up of the picture on Mars, Pennsylvania, by the Viking lander seen above. And you can see all of the invisible dominant organisms marching by, but which Viking could not see because of its nodding camera mode. Now, with this introduction, let us see what is on Mars. If there is life on Mars, the one thing we can be sure about is that it will not look like the life in Mars, Pennsylvania. Whatever else might be there, we have no way to know. Viking was the first attempt to look close up at the Martian surface, and let us now spend a little time examining what Viking found. Here is a portion of the first photograph ever returned from Mars. A portion of the Viking footpad can be seen to the right here. You can see it sitting high above the Martian surface. It did not sink in. And here, adjacent to it, is the first look at Mars we ever saw. And you can see it has flat rocks and clods of dirt and looks like your grandmother's garden. If we look at another footpad, here's the footpad. Here's the support of the footpad. The footpad itself is buried in Martian soil. So Viking 1 landed in a place which was hard on one side, soft, so soft on the other that it slipped into the ground. And if we were to look out towards the horizon, we would see why this is the case. This beautiful picture